I'm Simon Graffy, and I'm co-founder and CEO of Inspiring Teachers. So we're an evidence-driven nonprofit working in Uganda, Ghana, Zambia, and Malawi. And what we do is we basically create tools that make great teaching easier, and people would call it structured pedagogy. It's like teacher lesson guides, student workbooks, but we have a slightly different take. We call ours like smartphone-enhanced structured pedagogy, and with these digital tools for managing assessments, coaching, program delivery, and that's a bit about us. In my role, a lot of what I have to do is about convincing people that we're like both doing good work and also going somewhere good, so that they want to get behind us. And a lot of the people you have to convince are extremely busy and constantly subject to many people trying to convince them. So you've got to get really clear on exactly how you're going to convey your work. So a lot of what we've done is like simplifying our narrative and messaging. And I tried to break it down into like a set of steps just to share that I thought I found really effective at inspiring teachers. So something I found works really well is to start by saying, like, you know, who you are. And in our case, it's like we're inspiring teachers and where you work. So because that gives people that frame of reference, and then to have some kind of little hook. So one we used the other day was like we're creating new tools for old problems. And so suddenly someone's thinking, okay, that sounds interesting. What are those new tools? What are those old problems? There's a bit of a play on words, there, and that's, you know, interesting to get people just starting to listen to you, because the default is that they're actually thinking about something else. The other thing that, just as you're doing this, I think it's really important to think of it as a conversation rather than a pitch. It's not like a barrage of communication. It's like a back and forth. So you have to have things in short, snappy sentences so people never start thinking, oh gosh, they're going on for ages. But I hope you're not doing that now. So I'll try and do that. So he said, have a hook. I think when you're getting to know someone or wanting to share your work, you need to establish some common ground. So a nice way to do that is to share like what you believe, right? What is it that your organization believes? It might be you believe every child has a right to quality education, and people will be like, yeah, I agree with that. And once people start nodding, they tend to keep nodding. It's quite hard to go from nodding to shake. Yeah, try it. It's difficult. So you want to start people saying, okay, I agree with this person, and then you can start moving in, and you need to present the reasoning through that, the whole thread of your argument, as it were. So then it's like, so we believe this, and that's why. That gives you a reason for why you do this, because you believe something that's not true, and the world isn't living up to that belief. And so in ours, it'd be like, we believe every child has a right to a great education, and that's why we're working to improve learning outcomes in low-resource classrooms, because that's not happening today in low-resource classrooms. Then you also have to link things to make things really numerical. So a colleague of mine yesterday said, and 80% of children where I'm from can't read at age 10. And so suddenly it sounds solvable. So quantifying is, I think, really important. But then what you find, or we find, is people be like, I know. I know. You're like, I know you know. But so I think where it starts getting interesting is when you bring your point of view to like, what's the crux of the problem? Why is the problem happening as it is? And for us, just to keep using an example, it's like teaching is really hard, and teachers are currently being put in a situation that is almost an impossible situation. And we believe that teachers deserve to be given the tools to succeed. Again, in saying deserve, it's like a bit emotive, and it's bringing people into the picture. So that's like a point of view. And then it's like insights. Did you know across the world, every day, millions of teachers plan nearly identical lessons with identical goals? Isn't that funny? So like, what if you could just make that task so much easier for teachers? So it's like moving into insights. And then at that point, maybe someone's, after some back and forth, open to hearing what you actually do. And I think for somebody to grasp what you do, the best way to do it is to tell it in a story with some chronology. And there's different approaches, but so one is to say, you know, there's a teacher, and this there's a teacher called Evelyn, is an example, and it's a real person, and she actually said she used to have like butterflies, or I think she got a pain in her stomach when she was teaching because she didn't know what to do, and so in our program she gets a daily 1 hour like lesson guide, and it's based on the science of reading. It's very rigorous, very usable, and now she says she enjoys it. Right, so it's like you've started moving into the model. So like every day, and then we say, oh, and every week she runs an assessment, and then every term she assesses all of her kids, and actually they're progressing, and then I think you need to try and get into why is this concept like powerful. I don't want to dig too much into the specific example, but there's something powerful in what you do in your organization that is clever. And that is part of like the unlock that will help someone see why this organization over that. You're solving a problem that needs solving. They agreed with you on some values. You're presenting a model, but you've got a clever way of doing it. And that's like, why is it unique? And then I think what people then need to hear what you actually did, because you've been telling them who you are, you've been telling them what you believe, you've been telling them where you work, but you haven't given them any evidence at all. So you've got to say, what did you do where? So our example yesterday was, we implemented this program in 60 schools. And then we did this evaluation. And at that point, for us, it's like you want to leverage the credibility of some of the partners that you've managed to convince, because people are always thinking it's like risky committing to something. But if people that they respect or that they think have, you know, taken a diligent process have also got behind it, they'll relax a bit and feel more comfortable, and maybe even want to be part of that. So I think, yeah, conveying what you did and then what you showed and why the data is authoritative. You know, at any stage, you just need your information, what you're presenting, to be compelling enough for people to see that what you're doing is what you're doing works, and it justifies an unlock to the next stage. I would say a couple more things. One, you have to really sell your stage. So you've got to convey where you are and why you don't have all of the things that they might have, but show where you're going as well. And then when you're trying to raise money, the thing you're really selling is like, if you help me, it will unlock this bigger opportunity. So you've got to really unpack exactly what those things are and why. Anyway, it's a bit long, but that process we found really effective in getting people on board.